Welcome back to the finale of What If Ki-Adi Mundi Survived. Thank you to all of you who watched the first part of this video. To recap what happened in the episode in the event you haven't seen it, a suggestion made by Master Mundi had enabled Master Windu to discover the identity of Palpatine. But in his arrest, the Sith had escaped to execute Order 66, and in the chaos, Master Mundi had survived to try and save Anakin. The Jedi Knight is only focused on Padme's imminent death in childbirth, and he is under the spell of the Sith. Vader recalled all of the station members of the 501st Legion from their stations, and standing outside of the Jedi Temple's entrance, he could hear the whimpering cries of the Jedi as they fell by the blasters of the clones. Vader could not allow the clones to have all of the blood, and marching purposefully through the smouldering gates, he began taking apart any Jedi could find, regardless of their position in their order. At the back of the temple, Mace Windu, Ki-Adi Mundi and Shakti were desperately trying to escort as many of the younglings out of the temple as they possibly could when they receive a transmission from Senator Bail Organa that Obi-Wan and Yoda were arriving to save them. Sensing the darkness of Anakin homing in on their location, they scurry outside to the perimeter of the temple when they hear the voice of Palpatine being amplified from the Senate building. The new Emperor of the Galaxy declared for every single enemy of his empire to be hunted down and defeated, and as soon as he uttered these words, the Jedi hear a massive roar as every civilian emerge from their homes to kill them. The Jedi Council members are unsure of how to respond, as it went against their code to kill the innocent population, so deciding to subtly force push them away, the civilians wisely chose to remain at a distance. One threat is soon replaced by the bigger threat of Darth Vader, and pointing his blade at the Jedi Masters, they questioned his audacity to challenge them all in a duel. But Vader was not alone, with Palpatine emerging from his Senate speech to join the purging of the Jedi, working with his new apprentice to kill the Jedi Knights and bring the escaping younglings back under their control. Ki-Adi Mundi blocked the last remaining ship from landing back on the floor. Resisting Vader's force pull with a forced push, the Cerean Master suddenly felt the resistance of his grasp on the ship beginning to disappear, and as he watched the younglings fly away, he is met by the blue blade of the Sith apprentice to his torso. Vader coldly removed his blade from the Jedi Master and moved to his next target, who was Shakti, one of the most esteemed duelists in the Jedi Order. The council members stood back to back with Mace Windu, defending the clones of the Sith from all angles, when Yoda and Obi-Wan arrived to push the Sith back into the temple's foundations. Obi-Wan and Vader glared at each other and clashed blades, as if by fate, and the pleas of the Jedi Master to stop the path that he was on fell upon deaf ears, until Padme emerged from a Naboo star skiff above them. The heavily pregnant senator ran in between the Jedi, a move that was not anticipated by Palpatine, and whilst defending from Windu and Yoda, he ordered his apprentice to fulfill his destiny. As Vader glared at the senator and moved his blade towards her, Obi-Wan dived in the path of the attack, attempting to sacrifice himself, and as Anakin's blade fatally wounded him, he looked in dismay as Padme and her children had also suffered the same fate. Palpatine cackled as the present and future Jedi fell, and he retreated back to Vader, whilst Windu, Yoda and Shakti were surrounded by the whole of Coruscant. The era of the Jedi was over, and they would have to rebuild for a future chance of redemption, so pushing a loose pillar of the temple into the path of the Sith, they made a run for the temple hangar. Most of the ships that had been stored inside had been taken out of action by all of the chaos that had occurred since Order 66, but one Republic gunship remained, and that was all they needed to leave their home. Guiding the ship through the former Republic ships, their pride was wounded as they tried to track down the surviving younglings. Back on Coruscant, the civilians of the planet were cheering for the victory of the Sith for managing to stop the war, and the Jedi were regarded as traitors of the Republic. Senator Bail Organa was one of the politicians that were also labelled as enemies, but the determined senator managed to retrieve the bodies of Padme and some of the Jedi, then take them back to Alderaan. Performing a traditional ceremony for the Jedi, their bodies are burnt on a funeral pyre, as he then began to establish a rebellion against the new empire. But with nobody willing to go against the empire, and with all of his allies being hunted down, the era of the Sith was the present and the future. That is if What If Ki-Adi Mundi survived. If you enjoyed this What If, please like this video, turn on that notification bell, click that subscribe button on this channel, as well as on my other channel What If Films. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd all like to see next. and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.